Good afternoon, class. Oh, I want to thank the Lord, the creator of the universe, once again to create another opportunity for us to learn about the truth from the Torah of truth, from the Torah of Moshe. The Torah of Moshe is the Torah of truth. So just want to thank God for his Hashgasha practice, his divine providence. Without wasting much of your time, today we have a very, very interesting topic. Today, I like it so much. So the topic is about the talking donkey. The talking donkey, which is found on Numbers chapter 22, verse 21 to 39. The talking donkey, like we've alluded to in some of the previous presentations, where we were saying the Bible or the Torah are just codes pointing to another direction for someone to look deeper, for someone to delve deeper and find the truth. Like diamond which is hidden underneath the ground, like gold hidden underneath the ground. What we see in the Bible is just the body. Everything that you see in the Bible today is just the body, this physical body. But there's a soul to that. There's a soul deeper. Whatever you're seeing is the earth. You only see trees. And trees are cheap. Anything that is found on top of the earth's surface is very cheap. You can never sell a tree at huge amounts. But whatever is hidden underneath the earth is difficult to come by. It's expensive. It's costly. So whatever you see on the earth, on the surface of the earth, is cheap. Is inferior to whatever is hidden underneath. So gold is hidden underneath. Diamond is hidden underneath. So we need to unravel. Need to find sophisticated machinery and mine the diamond. So the Torah presents with us the well-needed machines, the machinery, sophisticated machinery to mine the diamond. So without wasting much of your time, our topic today is the talking donkey. Like we've said, there's hidden information, there's a hidden message behind that. So the talking donkey is analogous to the body and the soul. So that's our topic today. But I just want to advise you that, like we've said in other previous presentations, these topics are as a result of research. You see, so the careful reader of the Bible must have been struck with the level of incoherency, with the level of inconsistency of many biblical narratives. And sometimes the great lacuna, the great gaps that are found there. So it has been a very old problem. It has been an old problem to establish the basis to close the gaps. You find that the Torah brings the gap fillers. You see? So what we're saying, there are other stories in the Bible, which if you read only the Bible, you can't find the meaning. For example, there's a story on Genesis 48, verse 22. When Jacob was blessing his children, when he was now blessing Joseph, Atzadik, Joseph the righteous, he said to him, moreover, I've given to you, chapter 48 of Genesis, Jacob is saying to Joseph, moreover, I have given to you rather than to your brethren, to your brothers. I'm giving you a mountain slope that I took from the Amorites using my hand with my sword and my bow. Ndinokupa gomo randakatora vaAmori using my sword and using my bow. And if you read the Bible very well, to a careful reader of the Torah, a careful reader of the Bible, that story is not written anywhere in the Bible. We have no history of Yaakov fighting the Amorites alone. We have no such history. So where is that history coming from? So I'll give an example of the book. This book is called The Chronicles of Jamiel. The Chronicles of Jamiel. Some want to call it the Chronicles of Jeremiel. Jamiel, Jeremiel, or Jeremiah. The Chronicles. So these books, as you can see, they are gap fillers. They are where they are. The Bible speaks about something which is not there. These books bring in to close the gaps. Like I've said, the story of Cain and Abel fighting. After that, we read in the Bible that Cain went ahead and got married to a woman from Nodi. Where was that woman coming from? Where did she come from? It's not there in the Bible. We're all told a story about Abraham having 2 kids, having 2 children, Cain and Havel. But this guy is married. So these books now, they are closing the gaps. So that's what we're saying. So hence now, the desire to fill the gaps. So what we do as researchers, and in the name of the truth, we are trying to unravel those hidden meanings. Especially the topic today, we are trying to unravel the hidden meaning behind the donkey, behind the talking donkey. And as you know, it relates to our lives. You know, I'm well versed and eloquent, you know, and I have an understanding that there are many ideologies in the world. There are many belief systems, there are lives, like a wonder. But everybody is entitled to believe freely to whatever they think. But time now has arrived to learn how we must forever stop desecrating the word of God by unknowing, by unknowledge. So, like Hosea said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. My people are better for lack of knowledge because they have rejected the knowledge. So that's all about the issue. And it is really horrifying. You know, Mashingaidze are horrifying to see many people casting contemptuous innuendos, casting contemptuous insinuations to the word of God, the Torah of truth. And yet you find hidden messages from the book of Jeremiel, from these books attached. Book of Jeremiel, the Bible mentions that the book of Yasha, book of Jasha. The Bible talks about the book of Prophet Gad. All those books are not in the Bible. They're not in the Bible, but they are mentioned. So it's our effort to try to look for those books and decipher the truth inside those books. So the time has arrived when we must all use the Torah lenses to understand and discover the hidden gems in the Bible. And I can tell you today, the world is entered into a descending, devolving Third World War, or we can call it, you know, the Great Atomic Holocaust, by corruption, desecrating the word of God, sins. And there's a verse by Shlomo Amelech, King Solomon. King Solomon once said, when snakes are biting people in a community, in a community where a snake charmer was deployed, snakes are biting nyoka in a community where a snake charmer was deployed to stop venom from these snakes. How much money can he be given? To guard against the snakes, not to bite people. How much money can he be given? And yet in this example, the snake charmer is a prophet. The snake charmer is a pastor. The snake charmer is a deacon. The snake charmer is an apostle. The snake charmer is a priest, is a bishop of a church. When all those chores are there, and sins are eating people, depression is eating people, stress is eating people, Venom from stress is devouring people. Venom from depression is eating people. And yet God has deployed his stewards, and God has deployed snake charmers into a society to help people not to die with stress. People are committing suicide. Next door to a prophet. You hear some people saying, suicide. But it's closer to a prophet, it's closer to a deacon, it's closer to a local preacher, it's closer to a pastor, it's closer to a priest. But the snake charmer is there. The snake charmer is there. Stress, the Midrash talks about, when it's not about the natural snakes that we see. Snakes are negative things coming from these areas, from this world, eating people, biting people. Stress, depression, anger, those are snakes, those are venom from the snakes. And yet a snake charmer is in that society, in that community, and is ready to receive his salary. But yet people are dying. How can a person commit suicide in a church? How can a person commit suicide? Next door to a pastor, next door to a priest, next door to a local preacher, to a deacon, to a prophet. What does it mean? So when we have snake charmers, what are they doing? That's the purpose of this study. And to tell you the truth, we are all guilty. We are very guilty of a future third world war because of lack of knowledge. The First World War, you know what happened? The spiritual First World War was the generation of the deluge, generation of Noah, the deluge, generation of the flood. That was the First World War. The second one is the generation of confusion, the Tower of Babel. But this generation is the generation of lack of knowledge. I talked about it. So that's our topic today. We're going to focus on the talking donkey. And I've said the donkey and the donkey is called Hamor in Hebrew. And the Balaam was riding the donkey. So in this case, Balaam is the rider of the donkey. So the donkey is the body. The rider is Balaam, Baram in Shona. Baram, no donkey. Do akatasha donkey. And the donkey is called Hamor in Hebrew. And from this analog, you can derive that the rider and the donkey is the relationship between the rider and the donkey. The rider can be a father, and the donkey can be his wife or the family, meaning the children. So the rider is the donkey who should drive the activities at home. So the rider, Balaam, get a local constitution or a local institution. The father can be the rider, can be Balaam. In a situation where there's no father, there's a mother. A mother can be Balaam, can be the rider of the family. The family is the donkey. In a church setup, a pastor is Balaam, is leading the church. He's taking the church to a certain direction. So Balaam can be the church pastor. And the church, the congregants, could be the donkey. In a political situation, a political leader is Balaam, riding on the donkey, on the people, on the followers. In a church setup, an apostle, a deacon, a prophet, at workplaces, a manager can be Balaam, riding on colleagues to execute the duties. So it is stated in the Baraita of Rabbi Ishmael Cohen Hagadol that Balaam can be those attributes that I've said. A donkey can be, a father, a mother, a sibling to other siblings, a church leader, a political leader, or a manager at work. And yet Proverbs 12 verse 10 says, a righteous man cares very much about the needs of his animal. In animal, we're talking about the donkey. So a righteous person is Balaam, it's Biliam, it's Balaam in Hebrew. So that's our topic today. And I just want to let you understand that we have this is a mysterious event in the Torah. mysterious event in the Torah where we first hear in the Torah the donkey talking, the donkey speaking. And today, there's a new phenomenon from psychology about that donkey, that we must listen. The donkey is the body, we must listen to the body. So voice or voices, because the body has messages, the body has memories. And you must understand that one of the strangest episodes in history, like I've said, took place in the Torah portion of Balaam. Balaam was a Gentile prophet, the prophet of the Goyim, prophet over Eden. And this prophet was commissioned. He was commissioned by the Moabite king, Balak, to curse the Jewish people. And because Balak didn't want the Jewish people, so he threatened the Jew to kill the Jew, but he was not blessed with the cursing power. So he wanted to defeat them. So what did he do? He hired Balaam. So, but initially, from this story, God didn't allow Balaam to go and execute what Balak needed. But, Balak sent emissaries, Nume, to beseech, him to say, come and help us, And, the story, Balaam got up in the morning, set it on his journey. Journey is a journey. Jackass is a male donkey. Jenny is a female donkey. So the Torah says, he took his donkey. This Jenny, this female donkey, Jackass used to have, carnal, desire over it. He used to sleep with this donkey, doing incest. The donkey Balaam. God's Jenny. So that's what happened. So en route to the assignment, suddenly the donkey saw God's angel standing in the road with a sword in his hand. Then donkey, said donkey, the donkey, it went aside. You see, the donkey just went aside from the road into a field. And Balaam beat the donkey thoroughly to get it back on the road. That's when God's angel stood in a narrow path next to a vineyard where there was a fence. Because when the donkey saw the angel urged the donkey to stop. And that's why Balaam beat the donkey thoroughly. And God's angel continued ahead and stood in a very narrow place. And the story began of a donkey talking. God opened the first statement, the first miracle, very mysterious miracle. God opened the donkey's mouth and it said to Balaam, before I talk about what the donkey said, there is a story in the Midrashim, especially in the Talmud, where it mentions about 10 things that were created by God. 10 things that were created by God. First, the well, the mouth of the donkey, the staff, Trimbo Moses, all those, there were 10. I'm just mentioning 7. Tzime, the well in the wilderness, which the Jewish people used to get water from, the Miriam's well, Tzimra Miriam. Those are one of the 10 things that were created by God. Tzimra Miriam, Trimbo Moses, the staff of Moshe, and the mouth of the donkey, the mouth of this journey, was created in the beginning of the world. So the donkey said to Balaam, what have I done to you that you beat me 3 times? You've embarrassed me, said Balaam. You wanted something, sir. If I had a sword today, I was just going to kill you. Then the donkey politely said to Balaam, am I not your faithful jackass? Am I not your faithful Jenny donkey Gadzi, upon which you have been riding from back until this day? If I ever been unmindful to you, Biliam said no. Then God opened Biliam's eyes, Maraka from Aswa Baram, and he saw an angel of God drawing a sword towards him. And Balaam knelt down on bended knees and prostrated himself before the angel of God. And the angel of God said to him, why did you beat your journey? Why did you beat your jackass? Why did you beat your donkey these 3 times? I have come out to oppose you because your errand is obnoxious to me. When the donkey saw me, it turned aside 3 times. Sure, if I did not turn aside, then I would have killed you and spared the donkey. And Balaam, you know what Balaam said? And I didn't know that you were standing on the road. The donkey saw me. You didn't elevate your soul to see God until an animal saw me. So, you know the story. The narrative continues. And Balaam said, yeah, you can go with these cronies. That's the story of the talking donkey. What are we learning from that? Torah speaks. Why is the donkey's mouth so significant? The first things first, the Torah speaks in the language of men. Beneath that literal meaning in the Torah narrative lies or lay layers upon layers of deeper dimensions. So the surface, Pamsoro, underneath, Pamsoro is the story of the donkey. Underneath there are layers and layers and layers of deeper dimensions. Within the body of the story lies its soul. Within every story you read in the Bible, there's a soul to that. The story is the body, and the soul is hidden in the interpretation. So there's profound psychological insights that eliminate to the nature of the story that you're reading. And every character in the Torah, every episode of its narrative, there's a deeper meaning to that, which we need to unravel. And the story of Balaam and his donkey is the story of our lives. And he has, a multitude of lessons. Remember, the Hebrew name for the donkey is Hamo. And the female donkey is called Jenny or Janet. You see? So the Hamo, the donkey, in history, is called the beast of burden. So in the story, according to the Baal Shem Tov, there's a story in Exodus where it says, when you see the donkey of your enemy being overburdened by the burdens, don't ignore it. It's incumbent upon you to help relieve its burden. So the donkey that the Baal Shem Tov in the Bible is talking about is the body. Is the body. You must always help the body. So that's the deep spiritual meaning of the donkey. And Balaam did not read. Balaam did not understand what the donkey was saying. And from that perspective, because Balaam, the Torah says Balaam was a prophet. Those who want to say he was a magician, but the Bible talks about Balaam as a prophet. And we can see that prophecy can be corrupted. Balaam was a prophet, but prophets can be corrupted. How? You know, the Torah speaks about spiritual corruption or distortion. And the Torah says it is worse than other forms of corruption combined together. Because it uses a very positive spiritual force for negative ends. Spiritual corruption is very detrimental because it uses spiritual positive force for negative ends. I'll give an example of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva was the 2nd century Tana, 2nd century rabbi, who supported Bar Kokhba. Rabbi Akiva, according to the Torah, was greater than Moses from the Talmud. Rabbi Akiva was greater than Moses from the books. And he supported during they called the Hadrian Wars. He supported Bar Kokhba. He said Bar Kokhba was the Messiah. Bar Kokhba was a Jewish commander of army. And Rabbi Akiva said he was a commander of the army. He was a Messiah. And through that, Bar Kokhba, because was supported by the greatest prophet of all the time. Greatest prophet, Rabbi Akiva. And he went into war with the Romans. And guess what happened? 24,000 people died. Over 24,000, including Rabbi Akiva's disciples, because of his decision. Because no one will say a prophet is lying. People will think the guy is telling the truth. It happened. Even David Amalek, this other day, King David, he counted people. God did not say that. When he counted people, people died. He did not die. And it was not from God. And it is very, very difficult to say that a leader is misfiring or the leader is misleading people. It's very difficult. It's very, very difficult, especially when someone is a prophet. For example, it is as difficult, the Torah says, it is difficult to know that a political leader is lost, a religious leader is lost, a father is lost. It's very difficult for a son to see that my father is lost, my prophet is lost, my apostle is lost. It's very difficult. It's as difficult as seeing fish drinking water. You can never know that now the fish is drinking water. That's how difficult it is. The political now, especially when you vested interest in that person. So, in other instances, corruption, the physical that we see, corruption is better than spiritual corruption. But once the spirit has been corrupted and the soul has been taken hostage by destructive souls, everything goes haywire. So the same holds true for any abuse perpetrated by a person who is supposed to love you. We're talking about the body and the soul, the relation between the body and the soul being the father, the body being the child, the soul being the mother, the body being children, the soul being the manager, the body being colleagues or subordinates, the body being a pastor, the soul being the pastor, the body being congregants. Pastor and congregants. Pastor is Biliami, the congregant is the body. Pastor is the pastor is the soul. So that relationship where the leader is Balaam, is the soul, and the body are congregants. We can give an example of a parent. You know, with strangers, it's better, but not with the parent. Once abuse is coming from a loved one, it hates, it kills, it sits in the deepest place of our psyche, especially the place of love. A parent, for instance, is supposed to love you. And as a child, you are vulnerable before the parent. You're very vulnerable. Because a parent is supposed to love you. If she doesn't, what will happen? It touches the very core of our beings. It touches the very core of our sources. But this father is Balaam. I am the child. I'm the body. I'm the donkey. But Balaam is abusing me. I don't abuse Balaam. And Tasha is leading me in a certain direction. You need God to intervene. So that's the worst abuse ever. And it creates a huge scars on our mental psyche. We need to forget that. And nothing is worse than that. Because my parents should be the source of love. No, so what is the antidote to this epitome of distortion? If the gifted person or the one who is supposed to be providing love to me has become corrupt to the point that he cannot even listen, how then do you get through to him? It's Balaam who beat the donkey 3 times, not listen. He doesn't want to listen to the donkey. The story also happened with Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses. This is the day, a kid, Chimane Chambudzi, was running away from Moses, from the whole flock of gods. Was running away from Moses. Moses was with a stick. He wanted to beat the kid. Chimbudzi. Moses in this story was Balaam. Chimbudzi was the donkey. Moses was the soul. Though Balaam arudzingira chimbudzi, utaso chimbudzi. Aida uchidzora. Chimbudzi chikamanya chikaenda. When the kid was at the bowl of water, the kid decided to drink water. And when the kid was satiated, when the thirst of the kid was quenched, she ran back to the flock. And Moses said, I thought, Musikawa, you were thirsty of knowledge. You wanted knowledge. You wanted the boat of water. That's why you're running away from this. And I thought you were being stubborn. You were not stubborn. The God said I was not stubborn. I was thirsty. I wanted this water, this boat of water. I'm not thirsty. I'm not rebellious. And many a time people think when someone is looking for knowledge, he's rebellious. Just because I want a boat of water to drink. People think it's rebellious. That's the Balaamic approach of things. Balaamic approach to life. So the dilemma is Moses understood, oh, this kid wanted water. I didn't know. But me as a Balaam will not understand that. You can just, blackmail. So the dilemma is also from the perspective of the abusee. Dilemma, the survivor. Once someone has been hurt in a deep part of his spirit or the spirit, he doesn't allow anyone in. So what are we doing? You, Balaam, as a father to your wife, the hammer, the donkey. You, Balaam, as a father to your children. You, Balaam, as an apostle to your followers. You, Balaam, as a prophet to the congregants. What are you doing? Are you listening to the donkey? Listen to the donkey. The donkey can speak. The congregant can speak. You must listen. You must listen. These are I can give you another analog. What happened in the desert, in the wilderness? God said to Moses, let me wipe off the Jewish people. Then I'll make you, I'll make you grandiose. I'll make you the greater person than Moses. I will start my generation with you. I will kill everybody, kill everyone. Moses said, no, you didn't say that to Abraham. You are living with Abraham in heaven. What Abraham achati chiko makoreva na makilesa. You had an agreement. You had a pact. You had a covenant with Abraham. In Genesis chapter 15, when Abraham was felt in a deep slumber, you spoke to him about the Jewish people. You said, I'll take care of them. Now Abraham is departed into heaven. Now you are saying you want to kill everybody. And saw me as a leader. I will not accept that. What do you think Abraham will say? And God said it to Moses. Moses, you have taught me a lesson. What is this a lesson, Moses? You have taught me a lesson of life. If God can be taught a lesson by Moses, and the Balaam cannot be taught a lesson by a hammer, a donkey, a father cannot be taught a lesson by his children. A mother cannot listen to a child because a political leader does not listen. What is that? If God can say to Moses, you've taught me a lesson, and someone does not listen, because they are Moses, God said to Moses, no, you are my teacher today. Can you teach God anything? But this is what was written in the Torah. So in modern psychology, this phenomenon is called psychological hypothermia. When a child freezes, suffers severe abuse from the loved persons. What does she do? She will separate himself and separate her from those people, from the source of abuse. She dissociates, he dissociates. That's why the donkey dissociated from the rod. You can see the story. So we need to be very careful in our conduct with other people. Listen to your body. This body, can you communicate? Sometimes the body is feeling tired. Listen to the body. We have people who sometimes, very abusive people who abuse their body. Some can fast for 365 days. And it's not in the Bible. Ajibu, and fast. We call them ascetics. Ascetics are people who just kill their bodies to, maybe they think there's no relationship. They think bodies, and it's another field of the Torah. It's not, we have no time here. We have no time to discuss about it. But you cannot make your body suffer. You cannot make the hammer suffer. The story again is told of a rabbi who had a donkey, and it was in a wintry weather. It was very cold. So, arriving at a hotel, at an inn, he took the donkey, tied it to a tree. He leashed the donkey, kasungra donkey to a tree, and he went to an inn for coffee. So he was having his coffee in the inn, and the hammer, the donkey was outside. For 2 hours, he was drinking his coffee. When he came out to partake his journey, the donkey had died because of the wintry weather. Quite honora. It was snowy, and the donkey died because of snow. But he was enjoying coffee in the tuck shop. When he came out to continue his journey, there was no donkey. The donkey had died. What does it mean? The soul sometimes, the relationship between the soul and the body. If you take this rabbinic example where the rabbi went into a shop to have coffee and the donkey was out. The donkey is the body. Sometimes you go to extremes. The extremes. You fast, you take everything that you have. You say you are pleasing the soul, you are pleasing God, and you're left with nothing. The body is left with nothing. The body has no food, the body has no clothes, you have nothing. You have taken almost everything into an inn. You left the donkey, the body exposed to a wintry weather. You left the donkey exposed to snowy conditions. When you come back to partake your journey, the donkey is dead. That's what most people do. They are very ascetics. They make the body suffer. And what they think is the body is evil. The body is not evil. The body was created by God. So we have voices coming from the body. Are you listening to that? If you have a headache, stop whatever you're doing. Listen to the body. If you are limping, listen to the body. If you have stomach flu, stomach pains, listen to the body. Listen to what the body is saying something. You can't work 24/7, 365 with the body. That the body, even God himself rested on Shabbos. God himself, who is nani, who is immortal, rest. We don't rest. You don't have rest for your body. So ask yourself today, are we listening to your children? Balaam, the soul, body, the children. Balaam, the father, body, the wife. Balaam, the pastor, body, the church congregants. Are you listening to them? If you're not listening to them, it's time to start listening to them. Because the end of the day is Balaam did not achieve his destination, did not go there. He didn't achieve anything. He did not go. Because God, at the end of the day, stopped the journey. But some people failed their objectives. Some people failed, their plans failed because of disregarding, because of not listening to a ham or to a donkey. That's the story that was hidden. We try to unravel using the paraphernalia, the Torah paraphernalia, the apparatus of the Torah to mine deeper wisdom, to unravel it, sophisticated machinery, so that people understand the meanings behind, some of the verses in the Torah. Thank you so much for joining this class. Until we meet again, amen, amen, and amen.